No doubt this is going to be controversial. We will just see how controversial. Hi, and welcome to Yardline Yammer. This is your girl TT. Please like and subscribe on your way in if you have not done so already. So, as promised, today I'm going to be talking about the NCAA settlement. I'm going to let you guys know up front, I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading because it's a lot of data to cover, and I want to make sure that I get it to you properly. So, first, we're going to go break down the settlement, then discuss the possible impacts. The source I'm using is apnews.com and the NCAA website. All right, now let's get into it. And as you guys know, you literally can't watch college sports without seeing the NCAA logo splattered everywhere, from college football championships to March Madness tournaments to swimming, volleyball, sports, you name it, NCAA is involved. So, on their website, they are reported as a nonprofit organization that regulates student athletes. The overview states that they are a member-led organization dedicated to the well-being and lifelong success of college athletes. NCAA schools award nearly $3.5 billion in athletic scholarships every year and provide vast supports to help student athletes graduate at a rate higher than their general student peers. End quote. And now on to the amount that will be paid. Drum roll. $2.77 billion. Yeah, billion. How will this money be comprised? First, the NCAA will pay 41% of that share. How they're going to do this is by reduced spending, insurance, reserve fund, and school distributions. Put a pin in that. Next, it's going to be the Division I top 5 conferences. That's going to be your ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac 12, and SEC. Next is going to be the other 5 major conferences. They will pay 10%. That's going to be the American Athletic, Mid-American, Conference USA, Mountain West, and Sun Belt. Then you have your conferences that compete in the second tier of Division I, and that's considered the championship subdivision, and they will pay 14%. That includes the Ivy League, Big Sky Conference, Coast Athletic Association, Mid-Eastern, Northeastern, Patriot League, etc. It's too many to name, so you guys can see it on the screen. And lastly, it's going to be the non-football D1 conferences, and they will pay 12%. That's going to be schools like Gonzaga, Charleston, Creighton, Drexel, Marquette, just to name a few that we know don't have a football team, but we have seen them competing at a high level in March Madness for the basketball tournaments. Now, I don't know if you guys were paying attention or not, but that equals 101%. I am just reporting it how it is being stated on. Don't come for me over that 101 because I noticed it too. All right. Next, who will get paid? Now, this is going to be the interesting part. Damages will be paid over 10 years for approximately 14,000 claims dating back to 2016. This will be about $300 million per school. The math ain't mathin', but hey. Okay, how much will athletes get paid? This is still in questions and require attorney and judges to create a formula. No doubt this is going to be controversial. We will just see how controversial. And what other agreements were made? It included the agreement is a proposal that the major 5 conferences have a revenue sharing system that will allow schools to commit up to $21 million per year to be paid directly to the athletes beginning in 2025. Now, moving on to the potential impact. There are lots of concerns out there that's being talked about from NPR, local news stations, ESPN's First Take. I saw Paul Feinbaum out there talking about it, and several content creators like myself. Everyone has questions and everyone has opinions. So one of the big questions is, will athletes be paid based on how much their sport brings in? We don't know that yet, but my belief is that it will. And it's going to land the NCAA back in some hot water if so. But that's just my opinion. The major revenue earning sports are football, men's basketball, hockey, baseball, track and field, and equestrian. So those are the main ones. Will this impact scholarships? As stated in my first point, the NCAA will reduce spending, insurance, reserve fund, and school distribution. So I'm reading that as, yeah, this could possibly impact scholarships. And that's going to be, they give out scholarships for athletes only. So nothing to do with the non athletes at this point. So, will this impact NIL deals? No. The NIL deals are separate from any school funding. Therefore, students will be able to get paid through the school and still rack in those NIL deals. How will it impact the collectives? We are not sure because the collectives really are the ones paying the athletes now, right? If they don't have an NIL deal, collectives are gathering money from where they can and paying the athletes directly. So I'm not sure if that's going to be impacted or not. We'll see. Next question is, will athletes now be employees of the school? I'm not sure how they can get around not making them employees of the school. I'm sure they will figure out a way to do that because they don't want to open that door and that can of worms. It could just get a lot messier if students are now employees. Next, will there be a Title IX violation? And for those that do not know, Title IX is an amendment to a previous civil rights law, and it's in place to protect equal rights for women in high school and college sports. As of now, there has been some pause around Title IX. Therefore, I'm sure it will be taken into consideration as the lawyers, NCAA, and major conferences vet out how players will be paid. Next question is, will coaches' salary be impacted? You may not know this, but the biggest piece of the pie goes to the coach's salary. And I don't expect that to be impacted at all, nor do I think it should. This may be an unpopular opinion, but if a coach is dealing with 18 and 19-year-olds that's making more money than him and they have all the cards in their hands, so if the coach is not meeting their expectations, they're just going to get into the transfer portal. Yeah, I think coaches need to be still making as much as they're making. That's just my opinion. Again, probably unpopular. Okay, and my biggest question, and I don't think I've heard many people ask this question, is what will this do to tuition for non athletes? So, for me, a little bit of information. I recently graduated with my graduate degree, and every semester when I had to pay tuition, there was always a line item there stating student athlete. So, everyone had to pay into that pot, regardless if you were an athlete or not. Every student had to. With the top five conferences school now being allowed to pay players, and we know they will, right? If they can, they will, because it's kind of a pay to play type system now, like that we're going into. How is that going to impact tuition? Right now we already have an issue with the cost of tuition in the United States. I'm not sure about how it is other places, but we know that student loans are out of control, right? It impacts young people's futures for many, many years. They can invest in themselves, in a home, things like that, because these student loans follow them for years. And then you have the other problem of tuition is too high and it isolates some people from being able to go to college, period. So I think that's going to be a big problem and something that we might see come out of this that nobody's really talking about or expecting. So I really hope that they pay attention to tuition and make sure that it remains as low as possible. Honestly, lower it even more. I know that these sports bring in a lot of money. If you win the championships, it gives your school $6 million, I think, for if you win the championships, and maybe $3 million if you make it into the championships games. But again, for smaller schools, Division II, Division III, with them not giving out as much in school distributions, I think it's going to have a ripple effect, and I don't think it's going to be a good one. I would love to hear what you guys think below. Do you think the coach's salary should be impacted? Do you think this cost is going to be put off to other students that are not athletes? And do you think it's a good thing at all to pay players? I'd really love to hear what you think. I will be checking for your comments. Again, go ahead, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you on the next one. The next one, I'm going to be breaking down the ESPN top 25. I'm not going to do the whole 25. the top 25 way too early rankings. And I'm glad they call it way too early because it is. So I'm going to go over those and see what my thoughts are based on what they have now, who left, who's coming back, who transferred in, kind of get the whole picture and see if I agree with ESPN on those top 25, as well as looking at their schedule to see if I think they can run the gamut or if they're going to have a tougher schedule. So again, see you on the next one. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.